Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a very exciting review for you, and that is the new Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Lightweight Protective Makeup. That's long. But when I first saw this foundation had come out on Boots, it's currently a Boots exclusive in the UK, but is coming apparently globally in April/May, depending where you are. I was very intrigued, very interested, because it looked familiar, it sounded familiar, it had lots of very familiar claims, and this is the reason why. So this is the IT Cosmetics CC Plus Cream Your Skin But Better, the original. This now comes in a matte formula and also comes in a illumination formula. But just, you know, the appearance of them, the fact that they both have SPF 50 in there, they have all very similar claims for both foundations. So I instantly thought, I see what Maybelline is doing here. And I wanted to find out if we finally had an affordable dupe for the IT CC cream. Now, this is a fairly new purchase for me. I got this a few weeks ago and I bought it in my summer shade. So it is currently too dark for my winter skin tone, but we're coming into March now. I've got a holiday coming up soon. The weather is getting warmer. So I wanted to buy this in my summer shade, which is the shade medium tan. That may even be too light for me once I'm fully tanned. But I wanted to use this on my holiday because of the SPF 50. I wanted to use it on hot summer days here because of the SPF 50. So I purchased this only a few weeks ago. I've given it a couple of tries because it is too dark for me currently. I've not used it a lot, but I do really enjoy it. This one, when it came out and I saw that SPF 50, the full coverage, lightweight, natural finish, it was just like Groundhog Day. So yeah, I had to compare because I know lots of people would love to try this, but it's too pricey for them. So perhaps this is the dream affordable option that we've been waiting for. So I will put on the screen all of the claims that these foundations make. As you will see, lots are incredibly similar. Spookily so. I don't usually like doing side-by-side comparisons of foundations because particularly when it comes to wear, it's very hard to do half a nose, half a chin, half a top lip. And obviously my face is not perfectly symmetrical when it comes to lines and things like that. So I feel like generally they can be unfair. Because with these two, what I want to look at is how similar they are to each other, the coverage, the finish, all of that kind of how it sits on the skin, how it applies, the scents, all of that stuff, and make a direct comparison. I thought just this once I'll break my rule and we'll do a side-by-side, half a face of each, and see if we've finally got a dupe for the amazing IT CC cream. Okay, so as you can see, my face is quite a lot lighter than my body as usual, so I am going to try and match my body more than my face. But as I said, both of these shades are more my summer shade because that's when I prefer to use these high SPF type foundations. So just to give you a little look at the shades for reference at the top, this is the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 220. This is the new Maybelline Dream Urban Cover in the shade 265 Soft Tan. And at the bottom is the IT Cosmetics CC Cream in the shade Medium Tan. So I feel like the IT Cosmetics shade is slightly more of a neutral shade, whereas the two Maybelline shades are definitely warmer. I think if you've been using 220 in the Fit Me, I mean, there's like barely any difference. Maybe the tan shade is ever so slightly warmer, but it isn't particularly dark or anything like that. So if, like me, you can't get hold of this shade, this one is very close. Hopefully they're going to be close enough that I don't look bonkers for the whole day. So I'm going to start off with the IT Cosmetics CC cream because it's the one that we all know and lots of us love. Now, it does have a very strong citrus scent, so if you don't like scents or strong scents in your makeup, this might be a big pass for you. It is a very thick consistency. It's moving on my palette there, but that's just because I've just wiped it, so it's a little wet, so it's just slipping, but it is a very thick consistency. That is one pump, and that's usually all I use to do my whole face. By the way, I have primed with my Guerlain primer, as always. So yeah, as I said, this foundation, a little goes a very long way. Obviously today we're only doing one half of my face, so I don't even need a whole pump. And I feel like with this one, if you do use too much, it can get quite heavy and cakey. So you do want to go in with a light hand. Like one pump for me is usually like full coverage for like my whole face easily. But yeah, the scent is very noticeable as you're putting it on. It's a lovely, fresh, sort of limey scent. So it doesn't smell like perfume, but it is definitely a stronger scent. So just kind of trying to make sure I'm building this up to cover everything I want it to cover, all my sort of redness and discoloration, but without using too much, so that we're not getting too much sort of heaviness or sinking into lines and things like that. So I've still got quite a fair bit on my palette, as you can see. Definitely haven't used a whole pump to do half. It is tricky. I'm trying to sort of do half my nose and half my chin, but as I said, that is a very hard task, so I'm just gonna do my best. That is one layer, not a full pump of the IT CC cream on this side, and now we'll try the new Maybelline Dream Urban Cover. So this has a nozzle as opposed to the pump that you get with the IT CC cream, which is great because you're going to be able to squeeze out every last drop. I know people with the IT CC cream have to cut the bottom of the tube to get every last drop out, whereas this you're going to be able to squeeze it, and it's also a clear plastic so you can see how much you've got left, which I really appreciate. Okay, so it is very runny, like very watery. I've no idea with this one how much I'm going to need, so we'll just start with a little and we can add if we need to. And I've given my beauty blender a quick clean off. I haven't like properly washed it, but I have wiped off any residue of the other foundation. I'm picking up like a slightly sort of fresh scent, but definitely not a strong scent like the CC cream. So shade wise, as it looked from the swatches, it's definitely a little darker. Again, a little is going a long way, and definitely like an instant medium coverage. It's definitely got some good coverage in there as well. Again, trying to do half my nose, half my chin, but we won't worry too much. So definitely much darker. Good job I don't have too many plans today, although I do have to do the school run later, so it's going to be interesting. I can still see like beauty marks and things like that on both sides. Redness, I can see a tiny bit on the IT side and maybe a little less on this side. I'm going to just slightly build this up to see if we can get, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much covered those beauty marks, you know. I definitely feel like you can get to sort of medium to full with this one, and you can definitely get to full with the IT cream. Looking very, very dewy on this side. You know, we know that the IT Cosmetics side is a very radiant, dewy finish. This is looking even more so at this point. So again, didn't use even the amount that I squeezed out, which wasn't a lot. So both of these, a little goes a long way. I'd say they're both the lighter end of full coverage. But yeah, they have covered really well with a small amount on both sides. Definitely confirm at the moment, unless something oxidizes or just dries down a bit darker, this is definitely a hair darker and warmer than the CC shade in the medium tan. So to remind you, this is the shade soft tan and medium tan, this way around. At the moment, the Maybelline is looking way dewier, although they both are quite dewy foundations. They both look pretty smooth. Maybe the IT side is looking a hair smoother as far as texture. Both of these, well, the IT Cosmetics definitely soaks into smile lines a little and can smoke into other lines, like on my top lip and my chin and places like that. Forehead looks fairly good, although very, very shiny. Neither of these I don't think are going to be for anyone with oily skin or even combo. So yeah, definitely normal to dry. I think they both feel pretty lightweight, to be honest. It's very hard to feel any difference. Neither side feels heavier. They both feel Not like I have nothing on, but pretty lightweight. There's no sort of caking in between my brows, nothing weird around my nose on either side. The It's soaking into the smile line a little more dramatically than on the Maybelline side, but it has had more time to sit there. Both look pretty good on my top lip and on my chin, which is my kind of problem zone, is just here. So yeah, I guess what we'll do from here is we'll take a flash photo and I'll finish the rest of my makeup and we'll come back for our first check-in. See you in a few. Okay, so the time has just gone 11 o'clock. I don't even know if you can see that, my phone is so dark. But the time has just gone 11 o'clock. It's been about an hour since I finished putting this foundation on. I've done the rest of my makeup. I went in with my Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow in the deeper shade. I used my Hourglass Champagne Flash Stick and my MAC Like Me Love Me blush. And on my lips, I used the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in the shade Pink Venus and her limited edition lipstick from last summer in the shade Sunset Lover. So you can see that both shades really are too dark currently for me against my body. That is definitely for sure. As I said, they are both like my summer shades as opposed to my now shades. With everything on and finished, I'd say that the It CC cream is like pretty okay for my current shade. The Maybelline definitely looks warmer and a little darker, but the difference I can see in my monitor looks far bigger on camera than it does in person. You can barely see a difference in person. So yeah, the shades are fairly close, but I would probably go with the shade 220 if this is the one that you are using in the medium tan. That's going to be a closer match, I would say. This shade is definitely like a little warmer, but it does look more dramatic on camera than in real life. So I've just had a really good close-up. Everything on my makeup went on top beautifully on both sides. The Maybelline is definitely still looking, much dewier than the It CC cream. Still looking dewy and glowy, but definitely the Maybelline side much dewier. So obviously at this stage we're not really expecting to see like wearing or anything, but I will say that already the It CC cream has soaked into this smile line much more than the Maybelline has barely done so at all at this point. Chin's looking okay. Nothing really bad happening there. Nose looking fine. All my products, as I said, creams and powders went on top of both sides really nicely. I did do a flash test and I'll show you the photo now. I think both sides actually for the 50 SPF look fine. There's definitely a slight white cast on both sides, but I've definitely seen a lot worse. I don't think it's horrendous. So although you'd expect it with that high SPF, I think actually it's not that big of a deal at all. My forehead lines are looking a little exaggerated on both sides, as you would expect from like very dewy foundations. They do seem to tend to work their way into every line, but otherwise everything is looking good. The coverage is very similar on both sides. As I said, you can see beauty marks showing through on the It side, and you also can on the Maybelline side. At the moment, they do look very similar. Both sides look pretty smooth. Definitely Maybelline looking dewier. But yeah, they do look very, very similar as a starting point. So yeah, as usual, we are going to give both foundations the solid 8 hours that I usually do. So as usual, I have not set my whole face. Usually with the It CC cream, I do set it with my Charlotte Tilbury powder because it's almost too dewy for me, and it will just stop it being as transfery and all of that kind of stuff. But for the purpose of review, I don't want to help either foundation. I want to see how they wear by themselves. I want to see how they do on their own. So I have not set my face with powder. I have set my under eye concealer area, the center of my forehead, down my nose and my chin, just where I put my concealer essentially. So I did not also use a setting spray or anything like that because I want to see how they get on by themselves. Neither of these foundations is or claims to be transfer proof, and they aren't going to be because they are that dewy foundation that doesn't sort of fully dry down. So they are going to be transferring, and they are gonna, you know, move if you sort of wipe your face or press your face on somebody. So I will see you in a few hours and see if there's anything else to report. Back in a few. Okay, so we are back back and it's about 7 p.m. here, so we're about the 8.5-hour mark with these foundations slash CC creams slash whatever you want to call them, and I'm quite impressed. Let's zoom in and get the nitty-gritty. So neither of these really has like a long wearing claim or like a, you know, 16-hour wear or 24-hour wear like some of the crazy claims that we see nowadays. So yeah, this is kind of the point at which I would want them to wear fairly well, given that I didn't set them with powder, and obviously if I'd done that I'd have got a little bit more wear for my money. I'm definitely seeing a little bit of fading on my chin, and as you can see on both sides I'm a little shiny here. I mean, my forehead started off shiny and it still is shiny, and on both sides there's clear soaking into and exaggerating the lines on my forehead. The IT Cosmetics side, that's this side over here, I feel like there's a little just general fading that doesn't look bad, but it just is in general starting to fade. Blush and everything is starting to look a little less there. Kind of the same thing on this side, but if anything I feel like it's worn slightly better. And this is the Maybelline side, if you remember. Yeah, so there's nothing huge to report, it's just generally starting to fade now at the like 8-hour mark. I'm getting slightly shiny in the places where I have like powdered along with my concealer. It's starting to break through there. They both kind of exaggerate my forehead lines. Interestingly, I feel like the IT Cosmetics has soaked into the smile lines around my mouth more so than the Maybelline. I think the Maybelline's done a better job on these lines around my mouth, my smile lines. But yeah, I think they both look great. Definitely still, as per this morning, the Maybelline side is the dewier side in comparison with the IT CC cream. That could be a pro or a con depending on your preference. I think they've worn well for a dewier foundation, both of them, given that we didn't set with powder. So I'm actually very impressed with this one. I certainly don't feel like it's been left far behind. So obviously this one has like the anti-aging extra ingredients in there that kind of make the price point for me more worth it. But if you are just looking for a more affordable version of this, there is no shame in its game. And I will say a massive plus for this one is it has nearly double the shades of this one. I think there's 12 now in the IT Cosmetics and there's 21 with the Maybelline, so a far better shade range. I'll insert a picture of the shade range here for you so you can see. It doesn't look perfect. It's 21, obviously, you know, we're seeing shade ranges of 40, 50, 60 these days in higher end foundations. But 21 is certainly an improvement over 12. So that is something that, again, this one has for it. Neither side is feeling any heavier. I don't feel like either side has oxidized. There's still a slight difference when you look that this side is warmer and slightly darker. But that is where we started. So yeah, I don't think either side has changed throughout the day. I think they've worn well. I think they both look really beautiful. I love the fact that they both have SPF 50 in them. Perfect for hotter weather. So there you have it. I really hope you found this helpful, and if you've been dying to get your hands on this one but the price point is too high for you, I would definitely suggest giving this one a try. I would love to see you again in a future video. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.